Snow hissed against the frosted glass like 1,000 tiny needles. Outside, the February wind rolled in from the Volga, rattling the shutters, scattering powdery drifts across the empty lane. Inside, I tried to make the room glow warmer than it felt. A brass samovar steaming, beeswax candles trembling, a single anniversary cake glistening with sugar like fresh frost. For 2 years of marriage I had rehearsed this ritual: polish the cutlery, straighten the lace runner, smile as though effort alone could thaw the ice in Alexei's gaze. Tonight, on our second anniversary, I told myself habit would triumph again. The front door creaked. Heavy boots clomped over the mat. Father-in-law Sergei entered first, a tall, weather-browned man whose broad shoulders nearly filled the doorway. He carried a leather folder as if it weighed 100 secrets. Behind him glided mother-in-law Tamara, her fur-trimmed coat shaking off snow, her perfume sharp as peppermint vodka. My husband, Alexei, lingered last, collar up, jaw tight, eyes lowered. "You've braved the storm," I said lightly, voice quivering against the hush. "Let's have tea, the samovar's waiting." Sergei did not remove his gloves. He set the leather folder on the table with the heaviness of a verdict. "Yelena," he said, using my full name like a summons, read. My fingers froze mid-pour. I looked from him to Tamara, her lips curled, satisfied, as if tonight's scene had long been rehearsed. Slowly, I opened the folder. Black ink on thick paper. My name, Alexei's, and the word that swallowed the air from my lungs: divorce. The chandelier's light seemed to dim. The ticking clock on the mantel thundered. I heard my own whisper before I knew I spoke: tonight. On our anniversary. Tamara tilted her head, a hawk measuring prey. Enough pretense, child. A family must grow. Alexei cannot wait forever. We've found him a proper bride, healthy, strong, from respectable lineage. She is eager for children. Alexei shifted his weight but said nothing. His silence cut deeper than any accusation. My gaze flitted to the cake's unlit candles, then to the snow swirling outside. I had risen before dawn that morning, kneaded rye bread, scrubbed the floorboards, dusted every corner. Tiny gestures, old habits I believed stitched marriages back together. All for this moment of dismissal. "Sign," Sergei said evenly. "Sign now, and the village will respect you for your dignity. Resist, and whispers will gnaw at what's left of your name." A hot, silent storm built in my chest. I wanted to hurl the porcelain teacups, to scream that I was not barren soil to be cast aside. But my grandmother's voice echoed from childhood winters: "Strength sits in silence, granddaughter. Words weigh more when they wait." I inhaled the metallic scent of the samovar, the faint wax of the candles. Habit steadied my hands even as my heart staggered. I folded the papers deliberately, unsigned, slid them back across the table. "Not tonight," I said, tone soft but firm. "This house has not yet heard my voice." Tamara exhaled a scoff, her fur collar shivering with disdain. Sergei narrowed his eyes but did not press. Alexei's gaze flickered toward me, one fragile spark of conflict, quickly doused. He turned away, shoulders hunched, as though retreating from both shame and choice. The silence afterwards was unbearable, broken only by the wind's whistle through the chimney. Tamara rose abruptly, muttering something about wasted time, and glided toward the door. Sergei gathered the folder, jaw clenched. "Think wisely," he said. "The world honors women who know their place." The latch clicked. Their boots crunched over snow. Then, nothing, just the sigh of the storm. I remained at the table, staring at the cake. Its icing glittered in the lamplight, mocking the hours I had spent whisking and folding batter. Anniversary candles, still virginal, leaned in silence. Every muscle urged me to continue the ritual, clear the dishes, sweep crumbs, polish brass. Routine was refuge, the opiate of duty. Yet tonight I felt the pattern strangling me. All my careful habits, my endless striving, had not saved my marriage. A draft whispered through the hall. I pulled my shawl tighter and rose, pacing the narrow floorboards. Should I run after them, plead my worth? Or close the door, lock away the echoes, accept the verdict? The river wind howled like wolves beyond the shutters. My mind replayed every dawn I had woken before Alexei, every supper I had seasoned just so, every smile stitched to a fraying bond. Had I mistaken endurance for love? Minutes stretched like cold dough. The clock chimed 9, its bell iron hard. I placed both palms on the table and whispered, almost prayer: "If survival is a habit, I must forge a new one." A sudden knock startled me. Once, twice. I hesitated, then opened the door. Snow gusted in, swirling around a figure in a knitted scarf. "Anya, my childhood friend," cheeks flushed from the wind, breath curling in silver plumes. "I couldn't stay away," she said softly. "Something told me you'd need this." She pressed a sealed envelope into my hands. Its wax seal bore no crest, just a simple imprint of an oak leaf. "Do not despair, Lenica," she murmured, calling me by the name of our school days. "Inside is truth. Read it when your heart steadies. Tonight, keep warm." I reached for her wrist, but she had already stepped back into the storm. Her figure blurred into the drifting snow, leaving me alone with the envelope's weight. Closing the door, I stood in the quiet, the wax seal warming against my palm. The samovar hissed. The cake waited, untouched. The papers lay folded, unsigned. Somewhere deep within the cracks of my trembling, a seed of resolve took root. Perhaps old habits had shackled me to grief. Perhaps new ones could steer me toward tomorrow. For the first time in months, I sat without clearing the table, simply listening, to the hiss of tea, the breath of winter, the faint echo of my grandmother's wisdom. Strength sits in silence. Words weigh more when they wait. And as I traced the edge of the mysterious envelope, I realized I would no longer be silent merely to survive.